A lot of times agents don't know that what they're doing is hurting their business. So I want to go over a lot of objections, pain points, and frankly, limiting beliefs that when I talk to agents, they don't realize that it's a limiting belief, but it's stopping them from making as much money as they could be making. So I'm going to be covering what I think the different levels are of like how to scale to the next level of being a real estate agent and make more money. Not all of these may apply to you right now, but it would be good to know what level you're at now, how to go to the next step, and how to level up. I talk to a lot of seasoned agents that are stuck doing the work that frankly other people should be doing. For example, a lot of agents will say, oh, well, no one else can walk the property like I can with the client. So I have to drop my prospecting and go view these 4, 5, 10, even if it's one home, they have to drop what they're doing, travel to a house, open up the house, meet the client there, hope the client's not late, hope you're not late, view the property. And they think that by doing that, that is the highest and best use of their time, which let me tell you, it is not. I want you to snap out of that because opening doors is not the highest and best use of your time. Those are things you can easily outsource. There are literal apps for that. One of them is called Show-A-Me. The other one is called Workplace. Ask around. There are going to be other agents that are new in the business that are just looking for reps, just looking for easy stuff, make money now. So you can help them make money now and pay them per door that they open. Sometimes I'm seeing as low as $25 per door, like up in the Connecticut area, Northeast. Sometimes I see as high as $50 per door. Whether you're paying $25 per door or $50 per door, it is worth it to you. As I'm talking to these agents that are looking to make more money, they're stuck at $100,000 a year, which by the way, is what I specialize in. If you are stuck at 10 closings a year, you don't know how to get to 20. If you're stuck at making between $75,000 to $100,000 a year, you don't know how to double that. That's exactly what I can help you do. Now, getting to $100,000 a year, and I have a whole white belt bundle for that if you wanted to purchase the course there. If you need more hand-holding, then I would suggest you join a team that helps you handhold and you pay your 50% split and come back to me once you know how a transaction goes and you have a lot of reps already and you're stuck at the 100K mark. That is where I can come in. That's what I specialize in. So as I'm talking to these agents that already know they've been an agent for at least a year, they've done at least 10 transactions every single year, they don't know how to get past that. It's because they're doing stuff that other people should be doing, not them. I truly want you to think, what is it about me that makes me special, makes me so unique that the clients have to see me at the property and not anybody else? Even if you have a degree in construction or you have a construction background and you're able to go into a property and say, this room would take about $20K worth of work to upgrade. This room would be about $35,000. Even if you have all of that knowledge, it is still not the highest and best use of your time for you to be the one that's opening doors. Mainly, that's because you're not a home inspector. So let the home inspectors do that. If you're working with investor clients and they're looking to rehab and remodel the property, let them get their own quotes. You are not a real estate agent as well as the one doing the work. Pick one business. As I have spoken to agents that are kind of stuck in this where,
oh, but the clients expect me to open the door.
I'm telling you now, they don't give a shit who opens the door. If they feel loved by you and they have enough communication with you, they won't care who is actually opening the door for them. I promise you, you're not going to lose them as a client as long as you have set up the proper expectations before that. This is how I do it, right? I'm going to tell you exactly how I run my business. What works for me is any single buyer or seller that I have, I meet with them first on Zoom. Do I want to work with them? Do they want to work with me? Is it a good fit? Perfect. Get the buyer broker signed or the listing agreement signed. And during that first Zoom call, I lay out the proper expectations. I say, before you even send me any properties that you're interested in, I ask that you physically drive around the area, especially at night. I also ask that you either call the local police station to see what the crimes are, or you do the research online. And number 3, I ask that you look up the school district, because even if you don't have kids, the school district is important. So as long as those 3 criteria are met and you can see yourself placing an offer on that property, then you can bring it to my attention. At that point, that is when I will coordinate with a showing specialist who's going to be able to get you in the property as fast as we can. So you will meet them there. After that, either you will call me or I'll call you and we'll talk about whether you liked it, what you liked about it, what you didn't. Should we take this off the list? Should we, XYZ? That conversation is all done on the first Zoom call. I let them know I'm not going to be the one opening the doors for you, but I don't say it that way. I say I have a showing specialist. We will not lose out on a property due to unavailability on my end to show you a property. property. The first thing I require of you though is to do those 3 things: that you've either driven the neighborhood, especially at night, you know the crime, and you know the school district, and you're good with all 3. And if they're not in the physical area, then I ask that they go on maps.google.com and virtually drop the little yellow guy and virtually walk the neighborhood. Can they see themselves walking around the neighborhood at night alone? The agents that I talk to, they get stuck in thinking, but what if the agent that opens the door for them isn't good? What if they're not personable? What if they're not whatever? Who cares? As long as that person is like somewhat competent and can get there on time and open the door, you are the one that's running the negotiation. If your clients enjoy working with you, trust me, they do not need you to be there to physically open a door, I promise. Now, I get my clients a little bit differently, but some people get their business from Zillow or from a cold lead structure where they don't have that rapport yet built. So when they get a call, it's almost like a, hey, I need to see this property now. It's like speed to lead and, oh my gosh, we need to open the door immediately so that way they can then start trusting me. I don't like doing that. Anything that's really speed to lead, not for me. It's best if you go with somebody else. I focus on the 20% that pays me the most, which are those that have developed a relationship with me, those that watch a lot of my videos on my YouTube channel. So that way they're not going to anybody else. We're going to be working together. But if you have that type of business where you work with Redfin or Zillow leads, these cold leads that don't know you, the same still applies. Make sure that you are telling them with proper expectations. No one can get upset. So if you don't already have a showing specialist, if you are in a brokerage, for example, in my brokerage with EXP, there are a ton of EXP agents. I mean, we have over 85,000 worldwide. So you can just go on EXP Workplace and say, hey, I'm looking for a showing assistant. I would like to establish a relationship now so that way when I need you, I can just shoot you a text. Just let me know how much time frame do you need before I ask you to go view a house. Give them a call, make sure that they seem halfway competent, that they know how to open up a Supra lockbox. Let them know that you'll pay them at the end of the transaction. Of course, make sure that your brokerage allows this in case your broker has any sort of different rules. But if you're in a smaller brokerage where other people on your team or in your brokerage are not incentivized to show your property, maybe that's a sign. You could use Showing Me, ask your broker. But if I had no one in my brokerage to rely on to open a door for me, no one wanted to do that for me, how could I scale? You could only scale up until a certain point. Maybe you'll be able to do 10 transactions at a time, but what if you get all 10 buyers around the same time? You physically cannot be in more than one property at once. So at some point, you're going to be capped. So instead of waiting to see,
oh, well, once I get there, then maybe I'll leave.
At that point, you're going to have 10 closings, 10 pending, and then what? You're going to switch brokerages then? People do it all the time, but it's not ideal. Might as well just get the foundation set up now. The second thing that I've seen with real estate agents that is stopping them from making more money, taking on more clients, is paperwork. Agents that are not using a transaction coordinator, they're wasting their time. I don't care. If you are doing the paperwork, first of all, why? When I ask agents, they're like, hey, I'm only making $70,000 a year. I had this call yesterday. The agent was only making $70,000 a year. And she's like, yeah, but I do the paperwork. And she shows them the houses too. I'm like, okay, she got that part. She's like, okay, I don't need to be there at the houses, but she couldn't let go of the paperwork. I asked her, what makes your method of doing the paperwork for either a listing or a buyer, what makes your method unique? And she didn't have an answer for that. Of course not, because paperwork is paperwork. You literally just fill in the forms. There are entire businesses to help you and like agencies to help you do that. Now, what I suggest is hiring an agent within your actual brokerage to help you do the paperwork. Again, it makes it a lot easier with EXP because 85,000 agents worldwide, a lot of them just do TC work, just do the paperwork for you. And they only get paid at the end of the closing. Only when you get paid do they then get paid. Personally, I think mistakenly, people believe that they should be the ones doing the paperwork first to get a sense of what it's like. So that way they know when they pass on the stuff to the transaction coordinator that they will be doing it right. The TC's only job, their only focus is doing the paperwork and making sure that they know the updated forms, that they know exactly what the verbiage is to make sure that your client doesn't get hurt. They literally specialize in that. Why would you want to dilute your time of doing the highest and best use of what you could be doing to make more money, to go from 100K to 200K, and instead doing the paperwork that other people could do for $400? Think about how many forms it takes for just a buyer. Think about how many different forms a seller has to fill out. You have the affiliation, you have the actual listing agreement. You have a lot of forms that you not only need to pre-fill out, send it to them, wait on them to fill it out, receive it back, make sure everything is good. Your only job, in my opinion, should be when you get it back from your TC or when you get it back from the client, that is when your expertise comes in. I'm not saying be ignorant to the paperwork. I'm saying don't fuck around and waste your time with filling out the paperwork
because no one else can do this better than me.
You are not that special. I'm sorry. You're wasting your time. There are other people that only sit behind a desk and do that, and they like doing it, and they do it better than you. So where your skills come in as a negotiator, as a real estate agent, the client-facing person, is to make sure that when they get the paperwork back, whether you're getting it back from your TC or the client, at that point, that is when you can use your skills to make sure, did we sign everything the way that we negotiated, the way that we discussed in our buyer broker call or in the listing presentation? Is everything reflective of what we spoke about? Again, I'm not saying be ignorant to the paperwork. Absolutely, you need to know what the fuck the contracts say. I'm not saying that. I'm saying stop wasting your time being the one that fills it out. Both of those, showing houses and filling out the paperwork, are low value for you. So please let go of the limiting belief that I need to do this first before I pass it on to somebody else, or no one knows a house better than me, or no one shows a house better than me. What is there? You open the door and they decide if they like it or not. Sure, you can point out, oh, it seems like there's termites here. There are inspections for that. You're not that special. You are not that special. I'm not going to belabor this. Let's get to the next point. Once you have hired a TC and a showing specialist, you'll realize most likely that your dollar per hour work is in the 300s, maybe even 400s. Mine was 450 when I did my math. I'm like, oh, not bad. $450 per hour working with specifically a buyer client. Once you have hired those two people, I'm curious as to what your dollar per hour work is, because I think you'll realize, oh, I will gladly pay somebody $50 to show a house, aka $50 an hour, and keep my $450 per hour. You are quite literally buying back your time. So what's the next step? That's like level 1. Level 2 is, this is again, in my own opinion, is I found that I needed more assistance with organization. Taxes were starting to pile up as far as the organization of the taxes. And with that, it wasn't just hiring a CPA to help me do my taxes. Of course, I would never do my own taxes. I'm not a tax specialist. I'm not going to learn TurboTax. F that. It was also hiring a bookkeeper, because yes, I have my own credit card just for each specific business. But even then, there were some transactions that were coming out of ACH, some with a different payment. It was starting to get a little muddy. So I was like, you know what? I need a better handle on this. I need to better get an overall sense of where money is coming in, where money is going out, how much, so I could run my own numbers. So I hired a bookkeeper and a CPA, of course. Around the same time, I also needed a little bit more help with all the transactions that I have, because I have my business on a couple of different locations. So I have a whiteboard that I look at, but mainly I use Trello. It's free, and it's a way for me to see, like, at a 30,000 foot view of where everybody is at. Have I sent out the referral? Have they made the conversation yet? Have all 4 parties signed the referral agreement? Are we under contract yet? Are we still looking? Are we still pre-list? Overall, taking a step back and seeing where is everyone at? Who do I need to talk to? But I still needed a little bit of more extra help with that. This is where you can go in a multitude of different ways. So you can either hire an organizational person. I would suggest a licensed agent that may be new, but needs to have their shit together and needs to have a brain. So that way they can help you and think. If Larry just had their listing appointment yesterday and we're going to send them the list of things that they should be doing, and we already sent them the listing agreement, they need to be following up. Either they can be client facing, or you can still be the one that's client facing. I prefer, as of right now, staying the one that's client facing. So I just want somebody to ping me to let me know, hey, when was the last time you spoke to Larry? In my own business, as of right now, I actually have my wife helping me, who is a licensed agent. Either way, she's not client facing. I'm still the client facing person as of now. This can also be managed through automations and overall just technology. So we have KV Core at EXP. What I do with KV Core, I have the tasks remind me to ping out to them. As of right now, I do not have the CRM specifically ping them. The only time I turn on active campaigns to where the system emails or texts them directly is before they are a client. Once they are a client, I want everything to be very personalized. But up until then, I turn it on. Everybody that reaches out to me or everybody that goes on my website, automatically, they start getting texts and emails while I'm asleep. They turn into clients. So in this second level, it would be a mixture of making sure that you are reorganizing now that you're able to take on more clients and have more listing presentations. You have more time for prospecting overall to increase your volume. With more volume, you need more organization. So it's kind of going back a little bit, like taking maybe one step back, or may feel like you're taking one step back because now you're paying somebody maybe 10% of all of your closings to help you organize better. It may feel like a step back, or maybe it's paying the bookkeeper $300 a month. It may feel like a step back, but that's only to then catapult you into the next level, which would be somebody for customer service or like client happiness, client, the care bearer type role. That I think is step number 3. When you become so overwhelmed, you're doing the highest and best use of your time, because the majority of your time is either prospecting or negotiating and getting clients clients under contract, but because you have so much more time now to just prospect and increase the volume in a fast enough time frame. So at this point, what I'm doing, which may be different from what other agents, and maybe in the future, I'll go back on this later on, but I'm using this level right now to filter as much as I can. I want to only work with serious buyers that want to work with me. I'm not chasing. I don't have time to chase. I stopped putting my phone number out there. I no longer say you can text me to start the buyer consultation, to start the home selling process. I'm putting more filters on this. So I'm saying the only way to get a hold of me is to book a call on my calendar. And my calendar is not an easy peasy, just put your name and number and we'll schedule a date. I have all 10 questions maxed out. Calendly at this time, which is the system that I use, maxes out at 10 questions. You can't ask more than that. I have all 10 questions for the buyer or the seller to fill out, because if they don't fill it out, that means that they're not that serious. There are other clients that are serious, so I'd rather spend my time with them than chase your business. And as of right now, with my buyers and sellers that book a call with me on my calendar, I don't have anybody no-showing. Not one person has no-showed up until now. But I think that's because I have such an upfront filter. Answer these 10 questions. Make sure that all listing parties are on the call. I actually have some other special sauce that I do with my Calendly stuff. So if you want me to make a whole video on how I set up my Calendly with the questions that I ask, the funnels that I have, and the reminder texts and emails that I have set up, let me know. I'm more than happy to share that with you. Right now, I'm only sharing it with those in my downline, my EXP family. But overall, at that level, you have a lot of clients, you're trying to service them all, and you don't want anybody to fall through the cracks, leading you to a bad review. So at that point, the fix for that would be to hire an operator. Maybe that agent that is helping you as the care bear can also help you and get a percentage of your commission to be like a backup agent. At that level 3, or what I'm calling level 3, usually the biggest pain point, well, in all 3, but especially in this one, is communication. The clients are feeling a lack of communication, and that's what you do not want to happen. So how can you insert more communication? Right now, I'm currently at that level 3. I think the next level, which I am not yet at, so I'm not preaching this to you. At this point, I'm just thinking out loud, is in my belief, level 4 would be, I am no longer the one attending the buyer Zoom calls. I'm no longer the only agent attending the listing Zoom calls. I'm not going on the listing presentation. Instead, becoming a little bit more of like an outbound referral business, where maybe I will be the only one negotiating with the other parties, say the buyer agent or the listing agent, depending on which one I'm taking. But I think level 4 would be, just like I used to open doors, I no longer do that. Just like I used to go on the initial Zoom call, maybe someone else can take that, because at that point, hopefully I've built up enough rapport with my content and they already know to expect someone else on that initial call, but I'm going to be there for the negotiation. We're going to be communicating. We're all going to be in a group chat. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to structure that, but that's what I plan on doing for level 4. And with that, with level 4, you can really work from anywhere. So I could work from Puerto Rico. I could work from just at home, which is what I do now. So I just wanted to share my thoughts and kind of talk out loud about level 4. But now that I'm talking to even more agents that are stuck at that level 1, man, like, get that level 1 fixed. I give all of my resources and all of my most recent thoughts and my lessons learned to every single person in my downline once they join the community. The agents that have switched brokerages, not new agents, the agents that have switched brokerages, majority of them have doubled their income their first couple of months with us. If that is you, I encourage you to book a call with me to talk about how much more you can make with EXP and joining me, naming me as a sponsor. If you are already with EXP, then I have started a school community. It's at a price, of course, because my time is valuable. Hope you realize that. The school link is going to be down below. And if you are a seasoned agent, if you've already done at least 10 transactions, period, you probably most benefit from the black belt bundle of what I have. If you haven't even done 10 transactions yet, then likely the path for you is the white belt bundle. Both of them are in my school. I encourage you to take a look at it. I have 2 free resources, one for each. But otherwise, if you want to take the next step, if you're already with EXP, then I would encourage you to look into the black belt bundle. In there, you will have 3 calls with me included as part of the package. I give you a lot of resources, not everything of what I give those in my EXP community, but I give a lot of what I have found has helped other agents the fastest. So take a look at that. I really am just here to help. If you have any questions, if you want me to do that Calendly call, let me know and we'll take it from there. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.